We are going to turn this over to Forrest now. He is going to go through the Ethereum versus Bitcoin scenario analysis. Folks, don't go anywhere. Forrest, take it away.
All right. So this market crash, while it feels like altcoins have just gotten destroyed, I want to start out by just showing you guys the altcoin dominance chart, right? This altcoin dominance is just the percentage of the total cryptocurrency market cap that is made up of by altcoins. And altcoin dominance is actually doing extremely well, despite the fact that the overall cryptocurrency market cap has fallen. That is very strange, and it does not happen very often. So let's take a brief trip back in time to August of 2019, where we had this pattern, this big expanding running triangle pattern that usually ends up being extremely bullish, and in this case did manifest as bullish price action or bullish action for altcoin dominance. Then Bitcoin crashed. But in May, actually, let me get rid of that. In May, when Bitcoin crashed, what happened to altcoins when Bitcoin crashed? What happened to altcoins? Altcoin dominance crashed as well. Altcoins got destroyed, right? And then fell into this consolidation pattern. Well, we've broken out of this consolidation pattern, and it's because despite Bitcoin falling, ETH is holding up the rest of the market. In terms of total cryptocurrency market cap, we're only down 28%, give or take. I want to take you to down another trip back in time to the previous market cycle, where halfway through the market cycle, in terms of total cryptocurrency market cap, over the course of several weeks, right, 4 or 5 weeks here of red candles that ultimately bled down 40+% in terms of total cryptocurrency market cap, followed by a new all-time high, right? And then followed by 2 more weeks of red candles that were 45% downswings. So everyone's freaking out and screaming bear market, bear market, bear market, despite the fact we're only down 22% in total cryptocurrency market cap. And the reason we're only down 22% is because ETH, which makes up a large portion of market cap, of the total cryptocurrency market cap, has actually held on extremely well, right? So ETH price action here, the key support level, this key margin pressure level that we've talked about this on probably every live stream and every episode of Crypto Foresights for the last several months, about $4,000 being a big support level. Yes, we did wick below it when the market panicked, but guess what? There were a ton of buyers waiting in the waters down here to bid Ethereum back up over $4,000. We didn't even come close to closing a daily or a weekly candle below $4,000 here, right? We're currently pumping up at 4,274, 4,300. Like Ethereum, if we zoom out here, this to me does not look like a bear market at all. This looks like a strong bull market, a very strong uptrend with a little correction, a little 17% correction. So while Bitcoin, yes, has been suffering, I think people are just starting to recognize, individuals, retail, and institutions are realizing that Ethereum is significantly undervalued in comparison to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin may be overvalued in comparison to Ethereum, right? So what does that actually mean in terms of ETH versus Bitcoin? Well, we're looking at ETH Bitcoin. That is the price of Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin, meaning this ratio, if you look off to the side here, is 0.086. That just means that one Ethereum is worth 8.6% of one Bitcoin in terms of price. Now, if you'll humor me, we'll go to CoinGecko because it's just the easiest, fastest way to show the total cryptocurrency market cap, or not the total cryptocurrency market cap, but the market cap of Ethereum is $504 billion, while Bitcoin's is $927 billion. So that's roughly $423 billion apart. And that may seem like a large gap to close until you actually start to look at the charts and realize it's not a large gap to close. Bitcoin or Ethereum only has to 2x in value before it flips Bitcoin. and it only has to outperform Bitcoin by roughly 84% for it to flip Bitcoin, right? And I'll show you how that works out on the chart here. This top line, which I'm about to make bright green, signals the point at which Ethereum flips Bitcoin, right? So if one ETH becomes worth 16% or 15.9% of one Bitcoin, ETH flips Bitcoin. ETH flips Bitcoin at 0.159. Let me simplify it even further. If this bar, if we see bars go above this level, ETH flips Bitcoin, right? So is that possible? Well, in order for that to happen, this ratio only has to increase. ETH only has to appreciate against Bitcoin by 84%. When's the last time that it appreciated by 84%? Well, earlier this year. In fact, if you take from December 25th, Christmas of 2020, so we'll take it pretty much the first 140 days of 2021, Ethereum appreciated 266% against Bitcoin in 140 days. 144 days, or 140 days, and then Bitcoin just crashed, right? Bitcoin crashed, brought altcoins with it. Now all of a sudden, Bitcoin has crashed again. But instead of bringing ETH with it, instead of bringing the rest of the market with it, yeah, it's brought altcoins with it for the most part, but it hasn't brought ETH with it. ETH has actually been holding strong, causing the ETH Bitcoin ratio to break out higher, right? This last little leg since October 19th, in the last 49 days, the last 7 weeks, in the last 7 weeks, Ethereum's appreciated against Bitcoin 45%. Yet, people want to tell me that ETH can't flip Bitcoin, not in your wildest dreams. No, that's just, ETH could absolutely move 80%. If we take it from right where we're at right now, it's 84% against Bitcoin is all it takes for ETH to flip Bitcoin. And you might be thinking, well, ETH would have to 2x. Not necessarily. ETH doesn't actually have to 2x to flip Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues to crash and ETH just holds strong, ETH can flip Bitcoin that way as well, right? Let me show you the numbers. I'm going to zoom in here onto this table that I created. And this table, zoom back out just a little bit. This table shows you the price Ethereum has to be at to flip Bitcoin. And I'm actually going to hide this middle one because it just confuses people a little bit. This is the price that Ethereum would have to be at to flip Bitcoin at a corresponding Bitcoin price scenario. So let's just bear with me here. Let's take a trip down this scenario model. If Bitcoin crashes to 30K, and people are going to be like, well, Bitcoin can't crash to 30K. Well, let me just make that argument right now that it absolutely can. And I'm not trying to be super bearish here. I've got tons of TA here, right? So we look at the Bitcoin chart. Look at all the support at 30K. If Bitcoin continues to spew off, where's it going to find support? Probably around 30K. There's actually a very key margin pressure level at 34K. A little bonus nugget there for you guys. 34K is actually pretty strong support for Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin comes down to 30K, what price does Ethereum have to get to in order to flip Bitcoin? $4,778, like $4,800, which Ethereum wouldn't even have to make a new all-time high to flip Bitcoin. Ethereum could flip Bitcoin if Bitcoin just crashes to 30K and ETH holds strong and goes to $4,800. Right now, let's take it the next step up. Well, what if Bitcoin comes down to $40,000? Well, ETH only has to get to $6,371. As we've done the research on ETH this market cycle, and we've got research supporting the idea that ETH can go to $8,000 to $12,000, right? And if the rest of the market if Bitcoin wants to crash and the market just decides that they don't care what Bitcoin's doing, we're still going to hold our ETH because it just seems so valuable, and the supply is just decreasing. Right? With Ethereum 2.0 coming on, the net issuance is going to drop. EIP 1559 is already causing a supply crunch, a net issuance decrease of roughly 80%, 60 to 80% in the net issuance of Ethereum. So if the supply of ETH is just dwindling or barely inflationary, why would you sell your ETH, right? Why would you sell your ETH? Not to mention just the additional utility that Ethereum has. Not only does it have the better deflationary tokenomics that make it a better store of value than Bitcoin, you can actually do more with it. You can get involved with NFTs. You can get involved in DeFi. You can lock it up and stake it and earn yield that way, right? So there's much more incentive to hold ETH than there is to hold Bitcoin, in my opinion. I know a lot of Bitcoin maxis are going to get mad at me, but that's just the truth. And that's what we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time, right? All year long, we've been talking about ETH, right? Even when the market started getting dicey, we're like, ETH, spot ETH. If you're when in doubt, spot ETH. We did like an entire live stream about if you're nervous, spot ETH is the place to be, right? Because the supply and the tokenomics and utility are so good. Now, let's just say Bitcoin hangs out around 50K, which is roughly where it's at right now. ETH would have to go to $8,000 to flip it. $8,000 for ETH is at this point, it feels programmed. It feels programmed for ETH to do a little less than a 2x to go to 8K. Bitcoin just holds steady at 50K. All of a sudden, ETH's flipped Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin reclaimed 60K. ETH only has to go to 10,000, not even 10,000, right? We've done the analysis to show that ETH can actually go to 12K. ETH can go to 12K, right? So if Bitcoin recovered to $70,000 and made a new all-time high, that would be extremely bullish. Where's everyone going to hop in? Probably ETH. And ETH could go to 11,149 and flip Bitcoin. So the numbers for ETH to flip Bitcoin, all it takes is people recognizing that just because Bitcoin goes down doesn't mean you have to sell your ETH, right? And we're seeing on the ETH charts, right? We're seeing that when people sell off their ETH, there's people waiting down here to buy it back. This wick just went straight back up, right? So there's anything to kind of take from this is one, if you're not sure where to be, I think ETH is ETH and other big layer ones, but predominantly ETH is a really good spot to be, right? It's kind of like your underground bunker in an apocalypse, right? Is it going to take some shrapnel? Sure, right? ETH could absolutely fall. Maybe it falls to 3,400. I'll tell you right now, I'm a big buyer of 3,400, right? If ETH falls to 3,400, I'm buying, right? We've got support continued all the way down to 2,600 and 2,500 if Bitcoin really takes a hit and tries to drag the rest of the market with it. But I don't want to sell my ETH, and I don't think a lot of other people want to bail on ETH. They've kind of made the decision mentally, if we're going into a bear market, I'm not going to sell my ETH. I'll just hodl through it, right? Well, if everybody just decides to hodl their ETH through the bear market and no one's selling, ETH doesn't go down in price, right? If there's no sellers to drive the market down and everyone's just an ETH hodler, well, it just doesn't go down, right? So yeah, I mean, of course it can go down, but the bull case for ETH right now looks really good. Now, the last piece of analysis I'm going to give you is this 4-hour chart, right? There is a pattern developing on the 4-hour chart that I want to make sure you guys see. And it's a similar pattern to what we saw in altcoin dominance, this expanding running triangle that ended up causing or leading to the altcoin dominance expansion, right? That is an alt season, right? Now on the 4-hour chart, what are we seeing with ETH? We're seeing this same expanding running triangle pattern that could bring ETH to explode, right? And I believe Bill already showed you something very similar to this, but I just wanted to draw it to your attention, right? The target would be like $5,300 for ETH.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.